Hello everybody, I'm Crystal Hughes and welcome to At Home with NCWLIFE, your local resource for all things home and real estate. Today we'll be interviewing with Fletcher Ellingson, but first, your weekly market update. The Supreme Court said that the moratorium has put millions of landlords across the country at risk of irreparable harm by depriving them of rent payments with no guarantee of eventual recovery. Preventing them from evicting tenants who breach their leases intrudes on one of the most fundamental elements of property ownership, the right to exclude. Locally, we expect within the next few years within Chelan and Douglas County approximately 300 to 500 newly built townhomes, multiplexes, and apartment buildings. This will allow for more available housing and temporary living spaces. Furthermore, it will help transitional needs for sellers wanting to sell and take advantage of the demand in the current market, while they wait for the perfect home to come on the market that matches most or all of their needs, or maybe they're having something built. Many people, including my own real estate clients, are asking if we expect a flood of inventory to come on the market with the recently lifted moratorium. With the all-time high of equity in homes, highest average rent rates nationwide, and demand for rentals, most resources, including the National Association of Realtors, only expect those who need to sell will, and won't be a disruptive or even an efficient amount to keep up with the current demand. Those who are looking to purchase in the near future, though, may have a few more homes to choose from than there are currently on the market in Chelan and Douglas County. It's important to remember that the news is sales, and what we know is that a lot of resources are putting fear into consumers with uncertainties about the economy and what is next for the real estate market. That can paralyze people personally and financially from making beneficial decisions to one's future. Investors and those who understand financial thermostats are waiting for opportunities like these and times in the market to go out and buy homes when everyone else is in scarcity mode. Let's talk about what is a financial thermostat. Your financial thermostat is actually very similar to a regular thermostat. The thermostat is set to keep your room temperature within a certain range so that the thermostat regulates the temperature automatically and will kick in to ensure it always remains in that preset range. Think of your financial thermostat as the amount of money that you are comfortable with, the amount that you have set for yourself. Chelan and Douglas County average household income makes $55,000 per year, which means that the monthly paycheck would come out around $4,000. Most also live paycheck to paycheck. So for example's sake, the financial thermostat on average would then be around $4,000, and on the high end to low end would be $850 a month. When our bank account rises above our thermostat, let's say we get a larger bonus than expected, we typically find a way to maybe blow the cash. When our bank account drops below our thermostat, we start to work hard, we're more diligent, and we tighten up our expenses to bring it back up. If we reflect on our own experiences with money, we have to ask ourselves, does this hold true? This is why lottery winners usually end up right back where they started after several years, because they never worked on increasing their default settings on their financial thermostat. The level of your financial thermostat determines the level of your wealth. What is important for us to know about all of this is if you are dreaming or just considering selling, purchasing, or moving into a rental, there is plenty of opportunity local to meet your real estate goals and dreams despite how low the inventory is in the market. With the help of professional advisors, personal and business coaches like our guest Fletcher Ellingson today, real estate agents like myself, lenders, and financial advisors can help you make the best financial decision and perspective to make an educated decision on how to build wealth through real estate assets. The total sales in our local market area for July of 2020 was 103. That was down 14% from last year. Active listings were up 67% from June of last year and down by 44% from July of 2020. Pending sales for July were 140. Year to date, the median sales price was $430. That's up 21% from last year. And the current year to date average sales price is up 19% at $479. Average days on market for July was 51. The 6-month average sold price to list price ratio is 103%. Thanks for tuning in, and that was your weekly market update. Welcome back. We're here today with the multi-talented business owner, coach, magician, entrepreneur, Chelan man, and family man. Welcome, Fletcher Ellingson. Thanks for being here.
Hey, my pleasure. Good to be here.
Yeah. So a lot of people know who you are. You've got a television show here and you're well known in the community. But for those who don't, give us a little background on who you are and kind of how you chose the career you're in today.
Boy, that's a long answer, but I'll try to make it short, right?
Sure.
What I'm passionate about doing right now is helping people shift their psychology so they can move from a place of suffering and experience more freedom in their life. So I do that through my coaching program. And the coaching program is called the curriculum. It's called the Practice of Feeling Good in Business and in Life. And that's what I'm doing 24/7 now in my life. I've done a lot of other stuff, but all of that brought me to this place of coaching entrepreneurs and just helping them reach that next level.
So the practice of feeling good in business and in life.
Yeah.
What a great thing. So what kind of started that? I mean, tell us a little bit of background about what you did before that led you to kind of what you're doing today.
Sure. So I've always been interested in coaching or conversing with people about philosophy and religion and things of just like the journey of personal development.
Yeah.
When I started in 6th grade, I was a weird kid. I was reading Norman Vincent Peale's The Power of Positive Thinking. And I still remember my dad came out on the steps. I was on the porch and I was reading this book. He was like, "Hey, Fletch, what you reading?" I said, "The Power of Positive Thinking." And he just stopped. He's like, "What, by Norman Vincent Peale?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Man, you are an odd kid." And so I've just always been interested in personal development. And then I did a lot of sales. I've always been an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And so I've always been reading and feeding my mind with like, how do I get that next level? How do I develop? How do I evolve? And then I was in my previous job, I was in for 15 years, I helped build a tech business, and I traveled around the United States doing internet marketing seminars. And I found myself coaching these business leaders or business owners, and I was really enjoying it. And so about 5 years, I left that, and now I'm doing this full time.
So it shifted and led you into doing that. It was kind of natural progression in that. And so here you are today. So your wife's name is Amy.
Yep.
Yes. And so you've got this show on NCWLIFE, right? Called Live It Up. Yes?
Live It Up.
All right. So talk about that. Kind of how did that come about? And tell us a little bit more about the show.
Yeah, sure. So when I found out about NCWLIFE, I just decided I want to have a show. I've got a lot to say. I'm really passionate about getting my message out. I want people to experience their personal power. I want them to experience more freedom in their health, wealth, and relationships. My wife is a family practice physician, and so she has a lot of knowledge about the medical side of things, and I have a lot of knowledge about the psychological part. I said, "Hey, babe, why don't we do a show together? We got a lot to offer, and we are passionate about it." So I sat down here with Brenda. I pitched her the idea. She's like, "Yeah, let's do that." And
love it.
It was really that easy.
Yeah.
And when you want something, you got to go after it and just make requests.
Yes. Yeah. You have to ask, put it out there, right? Yep. And then you might receive, right?
That's exactly.
At the right time. That's awesome. So you've taken your strengths combined and now you're giving back to the community and you've created this opportunity. So, and you do additional coaching outside of that. So do you feel, you shared that you were reading these books in 6th grade and you naturally kind of progressed as you were coaching people. But what we know kind of in experience in life is sometimes those personal experiences that we've had where we're able to empathize and help coach people through those because we've been through them.
Yeah.
So could you share a little bit maybe about like a paradigm shift or something in your life that made you say, I want to help people and inspire them during this time?
Yeah, absolutely. So as an entrepreneur, and this just like all other entrepreneurs, it's up and down. Like you're always learning, right? Yeah. And you're always having to get out of your comfort zone. So when we moved to Manson, Washington, into the road, Manson, Washington, we moved our manufacturing business. We manufactured all natural soaps, lotions, candles, lip balms, really high-end stuff, and we sold them around the country. But we retailed them out of this little destination place at the end of the road in Manson. And that business totally crashed and burned because I was lacking a lot of business tools, a lot of business sense. And at that point, we had a family of 5, we had a mortgage, and we had $20,000 worth of credit card debt. And when we walked away from that business, we got zero, less than zero. We were owed, right?
Yeah.
And we had 20 grand in credit card debt, which is the worst kind of debt to have, right?
Yeah.
And I remember like we qualified for food stamps, and I remember going to Safeway, like using the food stamps, and nothing wrong against food stamps. They're there for people who need them. But I remember just like the sting of like handing that over. And it was that moment I swore, I'll never be in this position again. Something is going to change, and it's going to change right now. And I just had this incredible mind shift happen for me, and I began. The journey began on a whole new path.
I love that. So you're like, I'm going to inspire other people so that when they're in those moments that they know that there is light and there's hope for them. I love that. Yeah. So I understand you kind of help provide those tools then. You kind of help set some rules, some kind of support and solutions for kind of people's fear to help them get the desired reactions that they want. It's kind of what I'm hearing you say. So inspectors, home inspectors, insurance agents, real estate professionals, local business owners, you kind of help them drastically change their business. So talk a little bit about what you do for them. Like what is kind of an initial consultation? And what does that look like for people kind of helping set those tools and guidelines up?
Yeah. So a lot of people think they come to me and they want strategies. Yeah. And I love strategies, but strategies are completely secondary. Yeah. The thing that has to change, absolutely, because most entrepreneurs have so many strategies, they can't even get to them. They can't be, they're like, I don't have time to implement all these strategies, right? Girl. They're always like, just give me that
magic pill.
The magic pill, right? The silver bullet. And what I tell them is like, no. Strategies are second. We're going to completely change the way you think.
Love it.
And I mean, like, I want you to begin thinking thoughts you haven't ever thought before. I want you to think completely differently than you've been thinking, because if we can get you to do that, you will get different results.
Absolutely, because they say 90% of it is psychology, right? And then 10% is just implementing it and doing it. I love that. Well, so in perspective, you've built this coaching business and you also have this TV show. And so you help people, entrepreneurs and business people, change their thinking. So after this quick commercial break, we're going to talk a little bit more about how people can kind of put that into application and then your professional and personal opinion kind of on where we're headed in the world and the real estate market.
I love it.
Okay, we'll be right back after this quick commercial break. Welcome back. We're here today with Fletcher Ellingson, with the founder of The Practice of Feeling Good. Thanks again for being here with us.
Bet.
Excellent. So you actually did the Chelan Man, right? That half, and then you ended up doing the actual Iron Man. So talk a little bit about the mental strength and everything that you went through to kind of help build you up, and how you apply that to your business and helping people think differently today.
Yeah, great question. So in order for me to do these triathlons, because a lot of my friends did them, and I had a hardcore belief that I could never do triathlons. Sure. They would invite me to go on rides and swims, and I was like, no, you got to be special for that. You got to be extraordinary. Totally. That's not me. Yeah. In fact, I couldn't even swim. I could jump off a dock and swim back to the dock, but I could never swim. If you said, swim, give me a couple laps, couldn't do it. I would be out of breath and couldn't do it. So I finally realized, like, oh my gosh, I'm totally putting a cap on myself, right? A limit. And I realized that, and I said, because secretly I wanted to do it. Yeah. Right? And so I began training. I went on some rides and kept on just pushing myself. And we were talking a little bit earlier, like, I had to become somebody who I wasn't before. And just like I teach my clients, I had to begin thinking differently. I had to be thinking, I can do this. I can do hard things. I can learn how to do it. I'm resourceful, capable, and flexible. I had to become somebody other than I had been previously in order to do these distances.
Excellent, yeah.
And so, I started off small, and then we went to the Olympic, and then we went to the half iron, and then finally the Iron Man, and that was an amazing event. And what's so awesome about it is that I can never go back to my old way of being. Yeah. Right? I can never go back to that old way of thinking, because now I know what I'm capable of.
Right. Yeah. And so I've heard, that we only grow our businesses and our lives only grow to the extent that we do.
Exactly.
So you're able to experience that personally and then help other people scale to that and kind of find the gaps, right? You kind of focus on here's the tools, and then we can kind of fill in maybe the missing parts in order to help them get there.
Right.
Yeah, I love that. So if someone's noticing that they're maybe at a ceiling in their business, or they're wanting to scale, or they're wanting to try a triathlon. What is a little piece of maybe advice that you would give them? Maybe even they're thinking about buying or selling a home. Let's go back to when you said real quick about when they want something. I think I hear a lot of the times this limiting belief, well, I don't want to be in house debt. I don't want to be house poor. When we say, I want to be wealthy from my assets, right? So what would be maybe a piece of advice that you would give someone who's considering buying, selling, running a triathlon?
Yeah, I would say get around people who have already done it. Right? The fastest way to raise our personal standards in our personal life and in our business are get around people who have the standards you want to have, who have that lifestyle, who have that education, who have those experiences. Get around them, take them out for coffee, pick their brain, go to the events that they go to, and you eventually will rise to those standards.
Excellent. I love that.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people are a little hesitant to do something, especially in times like today that we've had. We're a little bit of scarcity thinking with uncertainty and COVID-19. And that's normal. Sometimes though we get paralyzed. We don't know what to do. So why is it so important that, again, we surround ourselves with those people and hire professionals, coaches like ourselves to kind of hold us accountable and help us? Why is that so important psychologically?
Because psychologically, your mind is not your friend. I mean, I do not want my mind to be on my team. Like if my mind was a person, I don't want that person on my team. That my mind is always telling me stuff like, you can't do it, you're too old, your ship has sailed, though that's not gonna happen, you're not smart enough, whatever, right? And so that's why we got to get around those people who have already done it, so that they're a constant reminder. Have them create the team that's going to support you and inspire you. But left alone, your mind's going to be like chipping away at your self-confidence. So feed your brain every day. Feed your mind every day with positive stuff, feel-good stuff.
Yeah, we can get far alone, but we can go really far together, right?
Exactly.
Strength in numbers, absolutely. So real quick, let's touch on, we can talk about creating things in life that we want. And a lot of people look at magic as, oh my gosh, like how did you do that? It's this illusion and how we see things and perception in life. So, magically, the market shifted in real estate, right?
Yeah.
So talk about kind of how you perceive magic and why you perform magic as an entertainer for people.
Everybody, even if they say, I don't like magic or magic's for kids, what everybody can agree on and what they absolutely love is the moment of bewilderment. When you see something and you don't know how it was done, that is such a rare opportunity especially for adults, because kids believe everything, but we're skeptical, resigned, and cynical. But when we can't figure something out, there's a moment, and it lights up the feel-good chemicals in your brain, and you actually feel like, oh my God, how did you do that? Like that was I love that feeling. I love to be fooled. And I love seeing adults light up and laugh because it's so rare that we get to play and find that sense of magic.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So true. I love that. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
So then over this last year, okay, so we've had some dark times in with COVID and everything like that. You've been coaching people. You've seen their hardships. You've seen their wins. There's been a lot of people who've come out of this too, even brighter than it was for them for a year before, especially if they looked internally.
Yes.
Right. So, talk about the magic that you've seen in people's business and in their lives this last year.
Oh my gosh, so much. I think because what was fueling them was this high level of uncertainty, and there was some fear, and so they were like, I got to do something different. Because if I keep thinking like this, I'm going to run my business into the ground, or I'm not going to be one of these people whose businesses get shut down. I got to get creative right now. So that's what we did. We began expanding what was possible for them, taking a look and having them begin to think again differently.
Yeah.
And when they did that and they got out of their comfort zone, it is like magic. Things started happening.
Yeah.
And people from the outside looking in, they're like, oh my God, what are you doing?
Right.
And really what they did was they shifted their psychology, started thinking differently. And when we think differently, it influences our decision making, our actions, and therefore the results you get.
I love that. So for people who are right now in the midst of thinking about, making a move in their life, business, personal, buying or selling real estate, with what we've seen, 2008 to today, and this next year, in your personal opinion, where do you see locally kind of our real estate market and the economy going?
Yeah, that is a wild card.
Yeah.
It's a total wild card, but here's what I would say to that.
Yeah.
get clear about what you want in your life.
Yep.
Get clear about if you want to level up or downsize or move to a different. Get clear about it and just know that it's possible as long as you're resourceful, capable, and flexible. And then get with a professional.
Yep.
And get their guidance.
Absolutely.
Because anything's possible if you're resourceful, capable, and flexible.
Yes, I love that. Great advice. So with that advice, then, is there anything else you would like to leave the viewers with today?
Continue to feed your mind every day with something that is going to help you move forward. Just expand your mind, because life is the sum of our awareness. So continue to expand your awareness.
Life is the sum of our awareness. I like that. Well, thank you so much for sharing your advice with us here today.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll see you on Live It Up here at home with NCWLIFE. Check out Fletcher Ellingson's show with Amy.
Thanks, Crystal.
All right, we'll see you soon. And that was our show here today. We'll see you next week. I'm your host, Crystal Hughes, at home with NCWLIFE.